Welcome back. With us right now from Third Mutual is their board treasurer, Steve Parsons. Good to see you, sir.
Hi.
Nice to have you here. And you sent along all kinds of different things you want to talk about today, and different topics. So I'm going to kind of let you go in the order that you'd like.
Oh, okay. First topic I'd like to talk about is communication between boards and cooperation. And to me, everything I'm going to be talking about today is from my perspective. And I think it is very, very good on how the crosstalk is happening between board members. We're talking about commonalities, we're helping each other out, and this is between United, Third, and GRF. And I see it coming together that I haven't seen since I've been here. And it's really working well, and I really appreciate the presidents talking together and communicating frequently. So I think that
you certainly
really
see
going well.
With that. Very good. So along with that, and you've talked about these many projects that are both ongoing and coming up.
Mm-hmm.
And you sent all the different projects along to me, and you also gave what's budgeted for them as of right now, right?
Right.
So let's go through those. And one of them, this is an interesting one, and the whole reason for this is it's adding parking spots, the red curb project, right?
Mm-hmm.
Or the elimination of red curbs.
Curb, right. That's actually taking place this year, and we budgeted $72,000 for it. And like I say, this is this year, 2017. But it's supposed to provide the taking away of red line of about 5,000 linear feet and adding approximately 500 additional parking spots. So we're looking forward to that, and we have a panel that's working on that at present, working to get the contractor up and rolling. It'll actually be part sandblasting.
Okay.
And so it'll be a little noisy, maybe a little dusty, but in the end it'll give us a lot more parking spots.
All right, so instead of just painting over the red curb,
right,
you're going to sandblast them away.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah, some of the paint has been painted over several times.
Yeah.
It's just flaking off.
Yeah.
So
you might
just
as well
remove
take
the whole
them off.
thing.
Okay, very good. Now exterior lighting, another big topic, and in this case you're talking about the street lights.
Right, and now I'd like to move to 2018. Exterior lighting, we're budgeting around $500,000, which has some new add-ins this next year. And that includes over 700 street light poles and upgrading them for their LED conversions, and also the LH21 LED lighting projects. So a lot of people have said they couldn't see at different places. This will actually help considerably. And eventually we hope to actually add some more poles also in places where people can't see.
And this, of course, are the street lights that are currently owned by Edison, right?
Correct.
Yeah.
Correct.
And is that still an ongoing process? Have that's been finalized yet?
We're working the contract as we speak.
Okay.
So it's being reviewed.
All right, very good. Building numbers, another big topic. It's always been a big topic here.
Right. There are a lot of buildings where people cannot drive by a building and see what the building number is. And so we've identified a lot of buildings that actually need the first look, so to speak, to put the new numbers up. And we've done a test with backlighting on one building. We also have another prototype of a different kind of reflective sign that we're going to be testing out soon. And we'll make a decision on which way we're going to go and then actually start the process here this next year, maybe early.
Okay.
So we'll see how that goes. But it should relieve the situation of not being able to tell what number goes to what building.
Yeah.
So.
Very good. Waistline Remediation, another ongoing project.
Yeah, this is something that we've talked about considerably, and we're actually into the program. We're projecting $750,000 to work out what we need to do next year. We can't do the whole thing at one time. And that's the same as what we budgeted this year.
Okay.
And as you remember, this is to put epoxy lining up waistlines and even up some smaller pipes. And it'll help us in the areas now where we have a lot of leaks, and it'll supposedly stop all those leaks. So down the road, we won't have to do as much.
Yeah.
And the cost of this will be going down considerably.
Okay. And again, one of those situations where you do this, nobody will see the difference, but they'll hopefully notice the difference.
Yes, and it'll
Yeah.
save us a lot of water in the meantime.
Yeah.
So you'll see the budget dropping starting in 2022.
Okay.
It'll drop down to about 50,000 a year versus 750.
Yeah.
But these are things we need to take care of quickly just because of the problem of water and leaks, and it gets into people's apartments and things like that, so it'll help considerably.
Yeah, definitely. Dry rot, of course, another huge problem here. And this has been worked on and off for a few years, but it's going to continue for obvious reasons.
Yeah, it will. We've got to get our arms around it, and there are different forms of dry rot too, and it attacks different places. So we've got to be able to go in there and completely get it out of each facility that we know where it's present. And once we do that, we can seal it back up, and that should be good for a while.
Okay.
So you'll see that we budgeted the same this year, and or we're looking at it anyway. And a consultant is to be hired soon that'll help determine the full extent and help us put in place a long-term plan. Now, wood rot will never really go away,
Right.
but we can definitely minimize it a lot.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Concrete repair and grinding, right?
Right,
Smoothing of uneven concrete surfaces.
right. This is something that came up to us that the people from United actually put us onto this, and we started looking at it and we said we better do the same thing. So you'll see that we are looking at budgeting $278,000 in 2018, which will also help cover grinding down of uneven surfaces. If you see something on the sidewalk where the two pieces of concrete don't match smoothly, or where it comes up to your front entryway to your house and it doesn't match well, let us know. We'll put in a ticket and we'll actually start the grinding process. So that's to help people from tripping,
Yeah, that can be quite
especially in the
hazardous.
dark.
Yeah,
And people that don't know our area as visitors and things like that, we're very concerned about.
yeah.
So
that's
we're
it.
proactive in this.
Needs to be done. Garden villa, heat pump, and water heaters.
Okay, we're looking at roughly $18,000 next year, and garden villas over the past several years have been somewhat neglected, so we're coming in and taking care of some things that they would really like to have done. We're trying to be reactive with heat pumps. At present, there are several of them that are not working properly. In one case, it may take 3 to 4 hours to cool down a rec room just to be able to meet in the heat
Wow.
of summer. So we're trying to replace them in kind, and then we're also doing a study for the future of what can actually speed the process up and cool things down faster, heat them up better. Now, we're being proactive with hot water heaters in rec rooms, and that we've done a study. We know that it doesn't take as much capacity to do what needs to be done in there, because basically it may be doing a few little dishes or doing hands, maybe cleaning the floor a little bit or something like that. So we don't need to have a huge water heater like you'd have in a
Right.
manor.
Yeah.
So we're looking at getting more or less of a half size, maybe a little bit less, that could speed up the process. We're actually looking at other forms of heating water as well. So that should be coming out soon, and then we'll start implementing next year.
Okay, very good. Earthquake insurance.
Okay, with earthquake insurance, you might remember around 2008, I think it was, when they stopped taking out a policy in Third Mutual for earthquake insurance, because it just cost too much. It was well over $600,000, and it was for a $10 million policy.
Right.
And a high deductible on top of that. Well, since then, the cost of this has come down significantly.
Yes, it has.
So we're down to about, we got a quote recently for $168,000, still a $10 million policy with a 5% deductible. We've had our technical people look at it, people who are engineers, scientific types, and then they actually asked for financial types to come in and meet. So our financial advisors came in and met, went through it, and is unanimous agreement that we do this. So tomorrow at our board meeting, we'll be making a recommendation on that from the Finance Committee and let the board decide if we were to pursue with that. If we take it out, it could start as early as August or October for a year, and we can finance that out of existing resources. So that'll work well there. But we also, for the individual, individual resident, we want them to consider taking out an HO6 policy, which covers their build out, upgrades, and things like that on the inside and their contents. There are different provisions to this.
Right.
And Dan Yost, who's on the VMS staff here, is heavily into that. If anyone would like to sit down and be counsel on it, he can walk them through it. But it's very inexpensive. I
Yeah.
was surprised on how little that cost. And so I grabbed onto it right away.
Very good.
So
Reserve accounts.
we plan to continue the contributions that we're getting now toward that. I would say, though, that the final numbers are not in, so it'll take us about a month or so, and then everything should be quieted down and we know pretty much where we're going. One other thing I want to mention on garden villas are their lobbies.
Oh, yes.
Over the past few years, we've wanted to do 5 of them a year. Well, last year we were only able to do 3. This year we're doing 8, and next year we plan on doing 10. So we're accelerating certain programs, and this is one of them.
Okay, and what are you doing in the lobbies? Just
what we're doing is taking down like the wallpaper and things like that, repainting, well, first off resurfacing, sealing and painting, working with carpet, and just the overall look of what's going on there.
Just
it's a joint
upgrading.
project between the residents and us.
Okay.
So they've already, in a lot of cases in the bigger buildings, they've gone through and looked at what they would like. They've made selections on things that are compatible between us, and so we're moving ahead with it.
Okay, and now we get to assessments. Okay, and that's always a big topic, right?
Everybody's hot topic.
Yeah.
We are looking at this, and we're trying to hold down increases on assessments, but my take is that it will go up nominally a little bit. It won't be something that people are saying the sky is falling, nothing like that. But there are projects where costs have gone up, and we've got to work them. We can't let them sit there. We're, in some cases, we're having to increase or speed up some projects, and on others we're holding the line, you know, like wood rot and waistline remediation. We have to do that as much as possible. Some ways of helping to keep the assessments down, though, is taking projects and spreading it over years. And I know GRF is looking at that. We've had to look at that. I think United also is doing the same thing. So that helps spread the cost over years instead of everything at one time. We're still looking at more ways of being more efficient. And our CEO, Brad Hudson on VMS, is highly into this. And of recent, he's been coming through with several things that he can stretch out, or things that he's got workarounds on, and he's bringing them to the boards. We're passing suggestions back and forth. So that process is really working well as a VMS board.
Yeah.
Every so often we'll send a topic to them, and they can look at it and then get back with us on suggestions. But from what I see is it would be a little bit of an increase, but not a whole lot, not something that people have to be worried about.
Okay, all right, very good. And I know, as you said, you're still working on other numbers, and you know, you don't know the exact amount yet,
Right.
but as the budget process goes on, you'll be able to
Right.
announce that.
And this is something that I really like about the board cooperation between the boards. Last week, GRF found some things that they could do maybe a little differently, or maybe stretch out some projects. And that is going to realize a lot of savings as far as assessments are concerned. We're still finding things on third where we can reduce some things from what we thought were going to happen. So crosstalk is really helping. The public forums we've had of recent, especially last week, are helping. Suggestions are coming forward. We're still looking for suggestions.
Yeah.
So if anybody has them, you know, send them in. But we're really looking globally throughout the village instead of just in our own little piece. So I think it's going very well in that respect.
All right, very good. And your board meeting is tomorrow, so we want to remind people it's a open meeting. It's a regular monthly board meeting, 9:30 tomorrow, and we'll bring that to you live. So if you want to be there or watch it, either one. Good to see you,
thank you,
Steve.
Ken.
Thank you very much for coming on.
Okay.
You take care. We'll see you again, and we'll be right back.